I want to talk about some not so stupid iOS tricks. I ran across a couple real nifty iOS tricks this week and wanted to share them with you just in case you missed them. The first one is a cool copy paste trick that relies on continuity and the universal clipboard on iOS. And this came actually, I saw it in a tweet, but it was originally on TikTok by a user named Michael Tobin. And this feature has actually been around for a long time, but I was fully unaware of it, and I think a lot of us in the community were. Basically, to use it, you need to make sure that you have handoff turned on both your devices. So you're going to go into Settings, General Handoff, and make sure that Allow Handoff is on. And you will need two iOS devices. I think you can kind of do this on the Mac, but the trick is really more impressive if you have, say, like an iPhone and an iPad. So make sure that you have handoff on both of those. Also make sure that both devices have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth turned on because you need that for continuity and handoff. And then make sure that all your devices are logged into the same iCloud account with the same Apple ID. And that will allow this magic to work. And now what you can do is in Photos or from an image, say in Files, you can do a gesture for copying that content, and it's a three-finger pinch-in gesture. So take your index, your middle, and your thumb and sort of swipe in or pinch in like you're picking up the photograph virtually. And then if you do it correctly, the gesture is a little bit tricky, but if you do it correctly, you will see a copy notification on your device. And once you have that, then what you can do is go into a text field in an app on your other device, so say Messages, Notes, Pages, and Email, and then do the opposite. Do a three-finger pinch-out gesture, expanding your fingers to actually paste the image right onto your device. Like I said, this can be tricky to master. These gestures aren't necessarily easy, but once you've done it, it truly feels magical because what it looks like when you're looking at it is like you're virtually picking up the image on one device and literally placing it on another. And it's a little bit of Apple magic. It's that attention to detail that makes Apple devices and the Apple experience so special. And I, again, don't know why we hadn't seen this before, but play around with it. Let me know what you think. The next trick is actually a nod to the roots of macOS, and older Mac geeks out there probably know who Claris is. Claris the dog cow. If you don't, if you've ever been printing on a Mac, or I think even on iOS, you'll see this icon, and you look at the page orientation icon, you've seen Claris the dog cow. It's a little icon, 8-bit icon. It looks like a cross between literally a dog and a cow, and it was actually part of a bitmapped dingbat font. Think of it as an icon font called Cairo, which was designed by Susan Kerr, who did all the fonts and icons on the original Mac. You can see a great article. I'll have a link to it in the show notes at maccast.com by Stephen Hackett over at 512 Pixels if you want to know a lot more about the history of Dog Cow. But that's Dog Cow. And regardless, this trick on iOS, it works if you have predictive typing enabled. So you want to make sure you have that turned on. I think it's on by default on most iOS devices, but if you go in to predictive text in settings and make sure that's on, you can get there by holding or touching and holding the smiley icon or the globe icon on your keyboard. Then tap Keyboard Settings and then turn on Predictive. You can also go into Settings General Keyboard and turn it on from there as well. And this really works best on an iPhone. I think I tried it on my iPad and it didn't necessarily work there. So make sure you do this on an iPhone. But basically, if you're typing in an app and you have predictive typing turned on and you type the word Claris, Clarus, you will see a dog and a cow emoji displayed as some of the predictive options. So Apple slipping in a little Easter egg, a little nod to their roots when you are working on an iOS device. And that's kind of a cool little trick as well. Maybe not super handy, but yeah, again, I always love it when Apple kind of plays homage to their past. And they are really pretty good at that. And they do it in a lot of neat and subtle ways. And this is just another great example of that. So there you go. A couple cool little not so stupid iOS tricks.